And we're live.
Yes, we're on.
What's up, guys? It's Friday. I'm very excited about that fact. It is sweltering outside, as it has been all week long.
It's supposed to cool off next week.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes,
Get up.
into the 80s.
Ho-ho!
Cooling off.
That's crazy. What? 1st of August. Awesome. Well, I tell you what, maybe with that cool off, the fish might start biting a little bit more.
We're going to start fishing.
Exactly, because who wants to sit outside when it's 100 degrees in a boat? I'm sure many people do that. Or maybe they'll just stand in the river, right? Because that feels good and then you just fish.
I did sit outside in a kayak the other day.
Yeah.
At 95 degrees, and it was hot.
You have to get one of those chairs that sit you in the water, pull along. I think those are called inner tubes.
Yeah.
And just make your wife paddle as she drags you through the water.
There you go.
All right. Well, I tell you what, today we're going to be making this adorable little fly fishing book.
Yeah,
Fly fishing
it's a
specifically,
fly book.
It's a fly book. So it is a tiny book of flies. Not the kind that you smash with your fly swatter.
Yeah.
But the ones that you hook on to a fishing pole, of which I know nothing about because I don't do that.
All the fly fishermen out there know what it's about.
Yeah. These are, what kind of,
these are for wet flies
these
or
are for
streamers.
wet fly fishing. But I suppose you could also use a book like this. You could have your wet flies and then you could have a dry fly book.
Well,
maybe,
you
or
could,
those different.
But traditionally, this is made for wet flies and streamers because...
What's a streamer? We didn't talk about that the other day.
Well, a streamer is something that looks like a minnow. It's a long, generally longer and a big fly. But the thing about it is, those are all fished underwater. So when they get underwater, they get wet and they float and go like this. And
Right? They don't sit on the top.
Yeah.
Which is what I learned about dry flies.
Yeah, the dry flies, they need to kind of keep their shape so they look like a nice little mayfly or whatever. They just land on the water.
Mm. I did tell Denny that he put his fish on here wrong. But we'll figure it out. So, anyways, he put a little leaping,
jumping trout
here, which is appropriate for our little fly. And then he used some awesome Sergei stamps on the front. And then just some other stamps around. Is this a Sergei?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both Sergei stamps.
All the Sergei stamps because we love him and his stamps. Anyways, well, this is what we're going to make.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to do it.
It's a pretty simple
He's going to do something. I'm done for the week. I burnished all of my edges on Wednesday.
It's a pretty simple pattern. This is the whole pattern right here. I don't know if you can all see it, but I got these two sets of lines, and those are our fold lines. This is our flap up here.
I think we have this that you're going to be able to download it if you wanted to do this, right?
Yeah,
It's already in the description. So Denny will explain how to use the pattern that he has, and he's going to do it a little bit different than I think he made his other one.
yeah. I've actually already got this marked, but I'm going to put it on here and act like I'm marking it so you guys think you know what I'm doing.
What thickness of leather do you got there, Denny?
This is a 4 to 5 ounce. You could also use a 5 to 6 ounce. It would give it a little more body, but it would also make it a little bit thicker. And to my mind, the thinner it is, the better, because it won't be as bulky.
Well, and so we have two different options for our inside situation. So
Yes.
on this one, you used some pretty thin shearling.
Yeah, I used
just
a
some
piece
scrap that we had out
shearling
front.
Fleece.
But he found out literally minutes before we started this video that our gray seating foam that we sell, we can split through our camogas.
Yes.
And so he did that.
Yeah, it starts out at 1/4 inch, but I split it down to about 1/8 inch, which is perfect.
So
If
are
I
you going to
would've
use
known
that today?
this, I would have been making these for a long time. But I think this stuff will work good.
Good.
But anyway, I marked this full pattern out. Now this part of the pattern, this front part that here, the flap, I'm going to double that up. So I'm going to mark it on the pattern also. Like I said, I've already done this, so I'm faking you guys out right now. Okay, now my pattern's all remarked. And I'm going to cut it out. And Liz has arranged the tools so nicely.
My job today will just be keeping them in order as we go. You know, I may have arranged them for a right-handed person, which now I'm thinking about that you're not that.
Well,
but I am that, so I just...
Everything I do is wrong-handed anyway, so. I guarantee you every time I put a zipper in, I put it in backwards. You can ask Liz.
Or when he makes a clutch, it doesn't fold the right way. It's fine.
Yes.
It's for the 2% of the population.
I put the fish on backwards, you guys.
It's just
think about that.
Exactly.
Not so much backwards, it's sideways.
It's sideways.
Cattywampus.
That was the word
Tilted.
that we used the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now this flap piece, I'm going to make it extra big because I'll trim it off after I get it cemented down.
Because you never cut your lining exact.
Right. Right. Okay. And I'm going to, the flat piece will actually go like this, something like this. But I'm going to skive this one edge way down. So I'll just use a French edger to do that. That way there won't be a big lump there.
Nice smooth transition.
Yeah. Could also do this with a round knife. I know someone will be calling in telling me I should be doing it different, so we'll do it like this and let them call in and tell me I need to do this different. How's that? Okay. Now then, I'm going to mark these lines that I've got on my pattern. I'm just going to line it up.
Totally arrange this for a right-handed person. I feel really silly now. I've got all the tools over here.
That's all right. I can reach.
I have to learn how to flip my arranging.
Yeah. I'm special.
Okay.
You
That's why we like you.
Okay, now I'm just going to mark these lines all the way across. I'm doing this on the inside, you guys, not the finished side. And I guess I probably ought to do some stamping on this.
Before you get too far along.
Yeah, before I get too far along.
He's just going for it.
Yeah. I forgot the tape.
Uh-oh. You know what?
Do you need? Oh.
You're not going to...
tape.
Do you think it matters?
Yeah, it will. This is thin leather.
Okay. I'm running.
Okay. Meantime, I'll mark where I need to be on the front.
Hey, elephant. Do we still have any of that elephant left?
It's on your desk.
That's the only piece?
That's the only piece.
Man, look at you guys go.
I know. Did you want me to sell that one too?
Yeah, might as well.
I sold Terry some ostrich yesterday, so he might not be in the mood for...
And as usual, I've forgotten something. I always do that. That's all right, because Liz likes to run.
Wait, don't come all the way around the table. You need more. You can go get more stuff.
What do I need?
No.
More?
That's a joke.
Okay. Is it?
I didn't think it was, but I guess it was. Denny making jokes over there.
All right. Now, I need to tape the back of this since we're going to be doing some stamping on it. You guys, if this is irritating to you, it's because we're live. And there are no do-overs in live.
That's right. We don't get to have Tony edit it out.
Tony barely has time to get it live.
You know what? It's more fun this way anyways.
Yeah.
You just got to keep going.
Hey, Denny, what size French do you have?
This is probably 3/8.
Does it have a number on it?
Quarter inch or 3/8.
Osborne one? I was trying to find a tool for it.
No, I don't think this is an Osborne.
No, it's not an Osborne. It's one of those.
Oh, it's like our
Mm-hmm.
pro bevelers. We're going to get some of those?
But we also don't have size.
The one that is I see on our website is 1/4.
This one's a 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a number 4 here. Osborne.
1/4 inch. I have a 1/2 inch also, which I use, but the 1/4 inch is probably the most all around good size for me. Now I'm gonna case this up just a little bit. And the first thing I'm going to mark on the front here is a stitch line, which will be 1/8 of an inch. And I'm measuring this precisely. Because we are going to stitch that foam. We're going to use the foam rubber on it this time. We're going to stitch it on. So.
Denny, did you say that was 4 to 5 ounce or 5
yes,
to 6?
this is a piece of 4 to 5.
4 to 5. And it's Herman Oak as always.
Herman Oak, yes.
Are you only using 4 to 5? I thought you mentioned 5 to 6.
He said you could.
You could use 5 to 6. It would be a little bit bulkier than what this is.
Be about an ounce heavier or so.
Yeah.
If you want to do.
Approximately. we deal in precision here, so don't we?
Always.
Now this line is actually my border line for standing that I'm going to do.
You gave yourself a little spine there.
Yeah. This part right here is the part that's actually going to bend, so I'm not going to stamp there. You could if you wanted to.
He is going to stamp coming around the flap, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to mark on the flap is this hole for a closure.
Denny, you're using pencil on your leather.
Yeah, but I'm going to punch this hole out that I'm using pencil on. So, okay, do as I say, not as I do.
Okay.
Never use pencil on leather.
He does have a modeler here, but
Yeah.
who needs that?
I'm not going to punch this out until after I get it stamped. But what I am going to do is kind of fold this.
Oh, because you have to figure out where your other one is.
I got to figure out where to put our little fish.
Mmm.
Okay. Right there is about center. And this is the top of our flap. So our fish needs to be under that. Which way are we going to put our fish? You
I
want to
think-
put it sideways this time?
He was sideways. You got to have your water at the bottom.
Okay, so it should be facing this way for a right-handed person. That's correct. Okay.
There you
So
go.
the water will be at the bottom right
It'll be completely different.
there.
Oh wait, did we talk about our guest yet?
Oh,
We
no.
have a guest today in studio. We just traded Chad out with another person because Chad was going to be gone today. So we're like, well, can't have less than 5 people in here.
Yeah. Yeah, but Wesley Owens called me a couple of weeks ago. Actually, he emailed me, but someone else had to tell me about that. And said, I'm doing a project in high school and I need to shadow you for a few hours. So here Wesley is. Wesley's over here.
He can come say hi.
Come and say hi.
There it is. We're not just
But
kidding you.
anyway,
Are you going to stamp that on your polyboard?
no, I'm not.
No.
I was.
I could see that.
Thank you. Again, you saved the day. But anyway, Wesley is shadowing me for a few hours today. I've never been shadowed before. I always figured that was kind of like stalking. This really isn't what I envisioned, but I'm glad.
It's working out okay.
Okay, I'm stamping our little fish on here. Pretty nice, but I need to stamp it a little deeper on the water end.
Perfect.
That's pretty nice. That's a pretty nice trout.
He's a good
For a
trout.
3D stamp, that's a pretty nice stamp.
So if you like this little trout, his number is 011-8834-500.
You're gonna hold it up there at the top.
The trout. Oh, there we go. That's what you get when you stamp it. You know what, Denny? Yesterday, Tony had the same problem with knowing where to go when we were selling that leather. So we're not the only ones. Even the cameraman gets confused.
Let me show you this one that's finished.
That's not upside down.
How's that? But see how nice and plain that stamp has a lot of detail on it.
Yeah.
That's a brown trout. Those big old spots.
Would you eat them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not. I'd pass on that.
You would?
Yeah.
Why?
Freshwater fish, it just smells too fishy and I can't handle it.
Oh, you've never had anyone cook you good fish.
That's probably true. I mean, I'll eat some salmon and some tuna.
Salmon is freshwater.
Only when it's streaming
They
up.
go to the ocean, then they come back.
Hey, Liz,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna need you to step over there by the furniture a little bit so Denny can keep working and then we can see your face. All the sips.
Okay, what I've done here now,
This is more important than that.
I've just made myself a light line diagonally from corner to corner inside my borders here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Only I'm going to go kind of the opposite direction. Just so everything's not the same. I hate things that are just the same. Okay. Now let me get my handy little bit here. I'm old. I need to sit down.
That's why I got you your stool.
All right. Now I'm going to use this Sergey Basketweave. Right.
It is number 54.
Number 54.
It's a little double. There you go.
Can you see it? It just kind of looks like a basket.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start here. I'm not going to give a big lesson on this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All I can say is you have to turn this 90 degrees between every stroke. That way it won't all be the same. This is a pretty forgiving stamp. If you get a little bit crooked, it'll be all right because it's supposed to be real rustic looking. You ever looked at a real basket that's been woven? It's not all that perfect. This stamp has a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Whenever you get done over it.
There you go.
You guys, you need to quit squabbling or I'm going to have to sit between you.
All right.
I remember that's what I used to get in my sisters. You guys, I'm going to sit between you. And that'd be worse than anything.
We only fight because we get along well.
I'll say, if you're not fighting with Tony, he doesn't like you.
That is the truth. Dallas Bag Company wants to see this piece of elephant. It's a huge piece, so.
Huge.
Huge.
Huge. That's just a fun stamp.
It is a fun stamp. It's a nice stamp.
Did you say which stamp it was?
54.
This could get really boring, guys.
No, everybody loves it when you stamp things.
Are they watching?
I assume so.
Isn't this exciting?
This fly book is pretty darn simple, so we had to take up time doing something.
It is pretty simple, but when I start doing the rest of it, it might take more time than we imagined.
That's okay. People like to hang out with us for hours, is what
All right.
Tony learned.
I don't know what's doing it. I always feel like everybody's getting impatient. Maybe it's me that's getting impatient.
You'll be fine just to stand right here if you want. Liz has stacked all the stuff in your way. So the piece was 20 and a quarter feet.
20 and a quarter.
But Ryan the Anvil left the building.
With it.
You know what happens when he usually comes in.
Yep. He's a sucker for all of our expensive things. That's what happens when he comes in.
That is.
I guess I don't know who you're talking about.
Ryan?
You
Watson?
do.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has that shop downtown. He's always in here. He has the
real fun
mullet
guy.
right now.
Maybe I do, yeah.
All right. If we say so.
I'll say I know.
You worked on retail for a while. You know him.
Yeah, probably do.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a guy that came in yesterday. He's doing something for a hospital, and he brought in some conchos that he had made.
Ooh.
Acted like he knew who I was. So I acted like I knew who he was.
If you're watching,
Everything.
we meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And I know who every one of you guys are.
Yeah.
Oops.
So Denny was my Farm Fest buddy for quite some time here in town. We've got this show in October that we've set up for like a decade now. And because Denny, built saddles in the area for so long, he would have all these people come up to him and be like, "Oh, Denny, it's so good to see you. I still, use your saddle every day." And then they would walk away and Denny would turn to me and he would be like, "I don't know who that is."
I know.
But he's made an impression on Southwest Missouri. You do a lot.
I did know
Sometimes
that.
you just need a little reminder.
Yeah.
That stamp is so deep.
It is. It's very, very, shows a lot of detail.
It's really cool.
And if you do what I just did and put it the wrong direction, you can kind of cover it up and no one knows. It looks like shredded wheat. I was trying to figure out what it looks like.
I could go for some cereal right now. Get a little cinnamon toast crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's right. It's I add that to my bowl of post-workout healthy cereal.
Yay.
It just makes it that much better. I love it when you get down to the end of the bag of your cinnamon toast crunch and then you just get that pile of cinnamon in your bowl. It's so good.
So we had a request. Darcy used her points for you to burn me at some point.
It'll happen, Darcy.
Don't you worry.
Just waiting for an opening.
So we had a question if we had a sit-down stitching pony.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we have one that you can put under your legs.
Do we have one? No, we don't.
We have one that you can put under your legs, but not like the seat.
Yeah,
one.
not a stitching horse. We don't have.
The ponies go under. So both of our stitching ponies go under your legs as you're sitting. But yeah, like Denny said, we don't. He has a horse in his area over there, but we don't sell one. I wouldn't know how to ship it. You'd almost have to put it on a pallet.
Well, you can take the jaws off on most of them. You can on mine.
I've seen there's this Australian guy he's a furniture wood person, and he makes a really cool one that kind of goes catty quarter under your legs. Like it's this big long thing that you squeeze together with your thighs, I think, and it opens and closes.
Wow.
But they're pretty large, and he won't shipping them out of the country. I guess is just really expensive. So I'd almost say you just leave that side plain.
Good. You want me to?
No, it's fine. You keep going.
Okay. I'm going.
Go ahead, Devin.
What is Devin
Swift
doing?
Hammer is on here. We can pull him on Twitch.
So, Wesley, are you a senior this coming year?
Nope, I'm gonna be a junior.
A junior?
What school do you go to?
Kickapoo school.
Kickapoo. So what class are you shadowing Denny for?
It's kind of like, it's not exactly a class. It's just kind of sign up thing you do at Kickapoo University. To have like volunteer stuff. It looks good for colleges and stuff.
Sure. Nice.
Just add to your resume.
Pretty much. Gives me some opportunities to do stuff like this.
Wesley took one of my leather coating classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he and I are connected. Did very well. I ought to have him doing this, actually.
I'll let you do it.
Good old unpaid interns.
Guys, we aren't half done yet.
What ounce is your maul? It's not your normal 15.
This is a 24.
Is that the Odin one?
No.
Or is that another special one you have?
No,
Was
I'm
it a
not
sample?
sure if yeah, this was a sample.
I
We
think it
sell
was a
these
sample.
malls, but I think the only one that we stock is a 16.
I believe you are correct, Denny.
We have those Barry King ones as well.
Yeah.
We have a Barry King in a 24.
Yeah. So this one was a sample of the 16 ounce that we carry. You can definitely get a 24 ounce Berry King in whatever style you want, because we carry all three of them.
All right, what's the benefit of a round ball over a hammer?
You pick it up and stamp with any side of this thing. The hammer, a regular mallet style, you've got to hit it with the face of the mallet.
Turn it
Plus,
the right way.
this thing has a better balance to it to me than a mallet.
Well, and it just kind of flows better with your hand. A hammer, you've got just a lot more
A lot
distance.
more handle.
Yeah.
I like using the malls better.
Getting so close.
Close one side.
Did you bring a big one for the other side? No, he
Big
looks
stamp.
smaller.
Yeah, there's not as much territory to cover on the other side. But the other side is tricky because I've got to go around that fish.
Mmm.
And going around something is a trick sometimes. But that's why I'm going to let Wesley do the other side.
I would say I should have brought something in here to do, but with him hammering, there's not really anything I can do.
Yeah, you would have. Quit hitting that.
It would have taken him twice as long because he would have had to wait between each one so that I could do one.
I had a guy one time say, I saw a guy that could just go bam, bam, bam on those. I thought, man, I wish I could.
Wesley, Carl wants to know, what have you learned then he's not on camera? What has he done so far when he's not on camera? You got stuff ready for the day?
What did you say? Prepped to be on the camera.
Pretty much.
We went through, he had to,
Showed me around.
Did you guys go to breakfast?
Should have done. Last time.
What?
Abigail.
You guys should have gone to Denny's.
The restaurant, not the town.
Breakfast does sound pretty good.
We talked about shredded wheat. What do you want to talk about now? Bacon?
Well, so I was actually thinking the other day, retail, I heard him talking about how you switch up your class layout.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're getting ready to actually have a classroom,
yeah.
which I am excited. I don't get excited very often, but I'm excited about this. It's been a while coming.
We've been talking about it for several years.
Yeah, and I've been doing classes, and everybody has to sit at a table like I'm sitting at. And when you do that for 7 or 8 hours, you get irritable. People lose interest, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
One
That's
side
that.
done.
Now let's go to this other side.
We should have had one half baked.
Yeah, I should have. Should have done the fish side first, or the other side first, and then. Shoot, I don't know. I should have had it almost done, but 3 stamps maybe.
That's okay. Well, Chevy guy, he asked about my next Lego set, which thank you very much for taking my interest. My husband went all out a while ago, and he got the Millennium Falcon, like the big one, like the 3-foot long one. And so I think we're going to try to start that. But we have to kind of figure out a spot to actually build it that won't be in the way for like the next 3 months. It's going to take forever.
So is that like a team project then?
It is. We definitely build it as a team.
Cool.
I have to lose a piece.
So, well, you know, they give you the bags. You build a bag at a time. When was the last time you built some Legos?
It's been a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of fun though.
It is kind of fun. It's great fun. But I'm pretty excited. The Millennium Falcon, they came out 2 or 3 years ago. They came out with like a bigger one than their last really, really big one, which was their biggest set at the time. So now it's like 7,000 pieces, something crazy. But it's like 34 or 35 inches long and like 26 inches wide and 10 inches tall, I think. So, you know, you could basically probably ride in it.
Where are you gonna put it?
Child. I have a coffee table that is perfect for it. It's designed. There was this guy that used to do maintenance here a few years ago, and before he left, like he was moving on to another job, and he was a welder, and so I had him make me a steel base of a table for Legos, and so it will fit perfectly on that, and we'll make an acrylic top to go on it because I never want to have to clean that. That would be terrible.
No, just keep going.
Don't you have that file on your computer?
I do, but they're asking if it's to scale, and I'm pretty sure it is to scale. 6 3/4 wide.
I mean, you have the template right there.
No, I'm going to try to get around doing this, see if we can make it. Keep going. Don't stop on my account.
Hit his
What I've
fingers.
got to
Just
contend
hit his
with, you
fingers.
guys.
10 and an 8. So the piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, should be to scale. There's no measurements or anything on it. I'm like, well,
Just print it out.
It's a pretty simple little piece.
Yeah, and actually, it doesn't matter. Make it any size you want. You
How
know,
many
when I got a lot of
lines do you need to
flies,
put here?
when I did this, I had 2 different sizes of plastic fly boxes, and this is just kind of in between both of them.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
most fly fishing vests have a couple of large pockets in it, and I made it so.
Don't they just have like those
it fit
Velcro
in.
panels, like the loops on?
Some of them do.
Is that?
Some of them got a couple of big pockets here, and then a couple of small pockets in front of those, and then a couple of pockets up here, and a couple of small pockets on those. They're
Yes.
just full of pockets. You're pocket poor when you're wearing one of those.
Well, it's because you got to put those waders on, and then you can't get to any of your pants pockets, so you have to have all your pockets on your
Well,
shirt.
Fly fishermen carry all sorts of doodads with them, you know.
Doodad.
Doodads, yeah. There's that another word.
Got a couple new follows on Twitch, so them joining in. I'm sure we have new subscribers on YouTube, so they're not left out. We got a free Liz sip there, just wasn't a close up.
I will drink my coffee whenever I want to.
Yes, need a couple more sips. Oh, no new bling to show off this week, though, Liz?
No new what?
Bling?
Did I have bling last week? What are we talking about? Legos?
Well, you had your typewriter last
Yeah, I
week.
brought the typewriter. We did finish. So this past week we built Mickey and Minnie.
But
So-
you didn't bring them in.
I did not bring them in.
Guess what you did last Friday after we
I forgot my typewriter here.
we had to lock it up in the safe.
Yeah, they put it in the safe. They sent me a picture. It was all well till Monday. Everything was okay. I think it's still in the. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Somebody's gonna come in.
People talking about it up front.
But yeah.
Typewriter.
It was really cool, that typewriter. It clicked and
Do you
it
know about
moved.
a typewriter?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Mickey and Minnie were pretty cool. They were almost like a foot tall, the little figures that they came out with. And then Mickey had a guitar that you built out that he held, and it looked like he was playing. And Minnie had like a little bouquet of flowers. And then there was a little like old school camera that you built that went with it. So they were pretty cute. That was a good time. I do like my Legos. Are you meeting back up okay, Denny?
I don't know. We're going to find out here.
I always hate that part.
Yeah.
Denny, how do you do your basket weave? And I know you did mess up on the other side.
What makes you think that?
Well, you didn't mess up. Okay.
It worked. You just be very careful. Most of the time, the way to make these meet up around here is to move this fish a little bit closer to your border lines where they don't have to meet up. You can just go with camouflage, and it covers up your meeting spot.
But if you have to put it in the middle,
Yeah, if you have to, you just got to be careful. Like I was.
you just got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Extremely careful.
The only time in leatherwork that he's careful.
Hide your crimes. That's what that's what Cam said.
Yeah, that's right. Hide your crimes. That's a good one. I'll remember that.
Make all the discoveries.
Okay.
Terry suggested a pocket for cigar in your fly book there.
Yeah, okay.
You just put it in the spine, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Just make a little pouch when you close it.
just don't fall in when you have a wet cigar.
Do you typically fall in when you're...
I do.
Got to at least once, especially when it's 100 degrees outside, right?
Yeah. Well, it's when I'll tell you what, people think, oh, you're wading in the stream. How nice. Well, this stream's going 112 miles an hour, and you're trying to walk over these boulders and
That are
rocks
slick.
and stuff that have moss on them, and it's slick. Yeah, it's not a simple deal most of the time for me.
It's not a relaxing experience to stay upright on those rocks.
It is, but you don't want to try and run.
Why would you want to run?
Well, I wouldn't.
Okay. There'd be a gar coming up chasing you. I would start running.
I caught a gar.
Ugh.
I didn't get it to end a couple of weeks ago.
You just
This
hooked it.
thing I hooked it.
They're monsters.
You know what I'm going to call them? They are Ozark.
Alligators?
No, what is it? Ozark Marlin.
Oh, no, we did because they do jump.
This thing, yeah, I had it up to the kayak, and I swear it was 3 feet long because it jumped right in my face, and it actually sawed my line in two because it did right there. I mean,
Did it take off with your fly?
yeah. Well, I didn't have a fly on.
Yeah, you probably don't catch a gar on a fly.
I caught it on a crappie jig.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's why it probably bit through everything.
Yeah.
We did have a question real quick on this stamp. Somebody sent in a little bit later. You did make a light guideline to keep Basketweave straight, correct?
Yeah, I started with a guideline, yes. Yeah, I just made a diagonal line. If they'll go back and start from the beginning, they'll see it.
Molly says that sounds like a fish story.
It was.
Yeah.
But it
With the guideline?
I swear it really happened. And it was huge.
Really, the only place I've seen live gar is at Bass Pro. And I don't want to see one in the wild. I don't want to be floating down the river and have something I could eat come up next to my boat.
Well, I don't think it would eat you.
I don't know that.
Well, you're right.
We don't have something in here.
What are you missing?
We had a question if there was a way to hook it to your waders. So you could clip it to it. I was just going to go and cut you a strip that you could fold over, and when you go to sew your lining in, then you can
Just
put a
put
little
it in
clip.
your pocket that you have many of.
You could. Yeah, it's small enough to put in your back pocket.
Yeah, but what if you just want right up there in front of your face and you don't feel like dropping it in the water
Just
to
dangle
make
it from
sure
your
it's secure,
hand.
and then your flies all float down the river.
Maybe a necklace or something.
Oh, you could put. I was just thinking
A
if you
lanyard?
put like a tab on it that could clip to your suspenders on your
Yeah.
wader.
Or you could even put an eyelet in there
Mhm.
or a grommet.
And
No,
then tie
yeah,
it
you
on
can
with
do it
fish
later.
line.
Yeah.
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 You could.
Like we do a micro wallet.
Oh yeah.
You complicate everything. Get out of here.
Go back over and control your cameras. It wasn't a Denny burn. We already had a Denny burn. Now we have a Liz burn as well.
Guys, I'm about to get this work. Do our border.
I'm about to
stamp.
need you to get to something else
Yeah.
to get some Tylenol.
Well, now we already started this. We've got to finish now. Can't quit in the middle. I still got to go around the border. Got it.
You just have to personalize the flap and put somebody's name on it or their fishing handle. Is that a thing? Do people have fishing handles?
What are you talking about?
Like names,
The
like
grouper
like-
grouper.
Oh,
like a
like a
nickname.
trucker handle? Or you got Maverick and Goose?
Exactly.
Iceman? Those handles?
Those kind of
Call
handles.
signs?
The-
Fishermen have call signs.
I think
Yeah, just like the sailors on the boat. They get helped out by missionaries and mercenaries. The same trip.
Next week, I'm gonna have to make new, better jokes if that one goes away.
I won't be here next week, so I won't listen.
Maybe he'll forget about it at Disney World.
when are you going to Disney World?
I fly out on Tuesday.
Not soon enough.
And
And the hits keep coming.
well, so are you going to be back next Friday?
Nope.
Negatory.
What are we doing then?
We'll
I
figure
don't
it out.
know.
We don't need him. It's fine.
Yeah.
Chad's got it.
Kevin can come in and run the
There's
camera.
fire again.
Hey, Wesley, we're gonna need you to come over to this side of the soundboard so you can learn how to run the cameras for Friday next week.
Oh, gee, thanks, guys.
I'm noticing what you're doing. You're doing the step method, so you don't have to turn your tool.
Right.
Denny.
Right. After you get one straight line, you can start just stair stepping up, and you don't have to turn it every time. But you also have to be careful because, like here, I'm not going to show you guys where, but I malfunctioned a couple of times.
That's okay. Tony will just zoom in far for you.
No, I'm trying to get out of this so I can focus this camera so they can see it. Whatever.
Well, this stamp lent itself to being revamped. Guys, I'm about done.
Woo woo!
About got her leg.
All right.
Oh, well.
Now then, next tool. Next tool. This is a matting tool. It's F as in father 899. And it's just a matting tool.
There you go.
But I'm going to use it and go around the fish. That'll just fade into that. What this does is just around the rest of the border and use like a camouflage type tool. But this matting tool just kind of fades.
Just finishes it off.
Yeah, it fades the basket weave into the fish, and you don't. It's not just this bunch of odd lines there. Okay, now I'm going to go around the border here. And this is a
G876.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I wrote it down.
And you can use any border tool, camouflage tool that you want to. You know, I've been working on a lot of those carve-right patterns, and we need to denote the tools that I used on it.
Yeah.
But when we do that, a lot of people think, well, that's the only tool that I use to do that pattern. But you need to think differently because it's not. You know, all you need is some facsimile of those type of tools to make these patterns. Just like the fish, if you wanted to put an elephant on there, you could.
Do they make
Or-
elephant flies?
I don't know.
Okay.
I knew that was coming. As soon as I said it, I thought, uh-oh. What time is it? Oh, we got to hurry here.
We got all day.
How we doing, you guys?
Just waiting on you. We got some questions, but I figured I'd wait till you're done stamping.
So you've got like about 120 eyes on you right now.
Whoa,
Really?
that's a lot.
Well, start asking me questions.
Well, would you like to tell the world when my hair was long?
Sure.
You were here.
Actually, I saw a picture of you.
That's what they referred to that.
Yeah. And I had forgotten what you look like with long hair. I remember when you cut your hair short like
Yeah,
this.
it was when Rourke left.
Yeah.
That was literally the weekend that Rourke no longer worked here. I cut all my hair off out of just sheer.
But now I can't
Sorrow.
visualize you. I mean, I saw that picture, but I can't visualize you without hair like you've got.
Right. No, so that was like my hair 2 years ago. 2.5, I guess now. But I go back and forth. About every 7 or 8 years, I get bored. Or I get a really bad haircut, which is what happened this time. I got a really bad haircut, and that was my solution, was just to cut it all off. Why not? Yeah. It's fun. The whole office the other day was just going on and on about their long hair and how they wanted to do short hair, but they were just too scared to do it, and I don't know. I said, guys, it grows back. I have to get this cut very frequently. It wants to grow back all the time. It's fine. Let's see. Molly's curious about our wholesale policy. I'm pretty sure that we do have a little blurb on the website about the wholesale. Basically, if you have a business that you filed with the government and you've got a sales tax ID number, all you have to do is send us that paperwork and we can get you set up as wholesale. If you have not registered your business yet, you can sign up for what we call the Gold Club, which is the same discount as the wholesale, but it is a $30 yearly membership to take advantage of those prices.
Abigail is over here giving me a face, and she's like, right now she's like, shh, shh. But I will say wholesale every now. She's like, it's wholesale. It's wholesale.
No. That's my one word where I sound like I'm from deep Arkansas. Deep Arkansas.
Down there where the alligators live.
That's right. Where they get the wholesale.
Alligators do live in Arkansas now, by the way. Okay. Elk live in Arkansas.
I don't know how our sound functions on your guys' end, but I'm grateful that you're done.
I am too.
My ears
I
hurt.
am too. Okay, now I'm going to take this off. Get it out of my way. Get a piece of paper here. I'm pretty sure this is because it's already been glued on. And I'm going to give this a light coat of neat's foot oil.
Matt's toaster. So he asked about the Herman Oak Econo side. I mean, we had one in here yesterday that we sold that looked really darn good. It had a big brand on the butt end of it, and then it had some blemishes towards the shoulder area, and then the thickness on the back, like the belly went really, really high up into the shoulder area, which is probably why it was graded as such. It is a mixed bag, guys. I mean, the Economy Plus, we got a really good deal on them. They're way cheaper than, your D grade sides, which is the Craftsman. That's $199 for a side. And the Economy Pluses are $129 if you're retail, $119 if you're wholesale. So that is a huge price difference when it comes to that. It is kind of just, you get what you get. Sometimes you might get a side that half of it is usable, the other half of it is not so happy. Sometimes it's a really great side, it just has a really big brand in it. But otherwise, you've got a lot of A-grade leather all the way around. That's what, when we unrolled that one yesterday, inside that brand and inside that shoulder area was beautiful leather. So just kind of take it for what it's worth. There are going to be some issues.
Another thing to think about, though, when you're buying those, every part of that leather is as good as the other part. It just got more blemishes, and you can use those blemishes in unnoticeable areas.
Exactly. Like if you mix an Economy
like right
with
here.
a B grade or a D grade.
This little piece right here could be just as ugly as it can be because it's never going to show.
Yeah. So just get it. they're cheap for a reason, but also you still get quite a bit of usable leather for what you're paying.
I have to step outside.
Here,
and
you
spray
stay
it.
there.
Okay.
The grain on the back, how consistently and how consistent and tight the grain was. Looking at the back side of those economy.
Yeah, it was still
Both sides.
like the grain on like the upper side of the back was still really nice. Like I said, it kind of like that belly area really went really high into the shoulder on the back side where you had quite a bit of flankiness going on, but on the majority of the back it was great.
Do we get those split or do we split them here?
We split those here. So that is your other question. We sell the 8 to 11 is how we buy it. If you're looking for a 9 to 10, we will gauge out 9 to 10. That way you're not getting where we try to send you, as long as that back portion gauges out to the 9-10, it might fall a little bit under that in the belly, but then we split down the lighter weight. So, boom. It's done. I'm done organizing.
I'm sorry, I completely.
No, it's great. You used it. It's beautiful.
Not too bad.
It's they're still there. They're in their spot. Let's see here. Denny, what colors of thread work best in your opinion?
White.
You love white.
I love white. White
What about
is
natural?
natural is a good color too. But natural or white it's a traditional color on leather.
Not red.
Red's good. Colors are great. Don't get me wrong. I just like the look of white thread.
Yeah.
And it depends on the project you're doing. Some stuff doesn't lend itself to white.
No.
We don't have a hair dryer.
So
I
we do.
sprayed
We
it.
do.
Oh, but guess what I did?
What?
Did you
I
wave
held onto it and I spun it around in circles because I didn't want to touch the front of it. Now I'm a little bit dizzy.
Okay.
it? Like you spun around in circles?
You got it.
He's so weird, you guys.
I'm just getting ready to put a little antique on this. So I gave it a light coat of oil. And then
They can't hear you. Now you can go again.
okay, I gave it a light coat of oil, and then Tony sprayed it with the Master's Quick Shine, which acts as a resist. Now I'm going to put some.
And when I sprayed it, I did spray it at different angles. Make sure I could get all in it. Like
Very good, very good. This is some vintage gel from Phoebing's.
In the
It's-
medium brown.
Yes, in the medium brown. And there again, it's your choice, whatever you want, whatever color you want. Brown is brown. Medium brown isn't as dark as dark brown, obviously, but still brown. And the more oil you put on it, on a natural colored leather, the darker it's going to get, and the less effect you're going to have. So that's why I like just a nice light coat of neatfoot oil.
I know you rediscovered Sheridan Brown here a few weeks ago.
Yes, I did.
You forgot how great that one is.
If I would have thought about it, I would have brought it in and done this with it.
Use that color on the coasters.
The Sheridan Brown?
Well,
Oh, this medium brown?
one you're using.
Oh, yeah, when you were in the class, yeah.
Ooh. Tony, you want to go overhead? There you go. Let's see here. Jan asked if we shipped machines to Canada. Yes, we can. It is very expensive. I know last year we did one to Alaska, and it was, I think, almost $800 for the shipping. And I believe that we did just do one to Canada, and it was probably about the same or a little bit more expensive, depending on where you're at in Canada. We might ship it, or we might have leather machine. But also, here's the caveat when it goes out of country, is you have to have a broker to import that. It's not as simple as getting a package. It is freight. It comes on a pallet, and you have to have a person that imports it to a warehouse and then gets it to you. So that is all on your end, that you have to figure out a broker in Canada to import your machine for you. So it can get rather tricky. I don't know if Leather Machine has any distributors in Canada, but you might reach out to Heather over there at Leather Machine and chat with her about it. Because we've only ever, I think, shipped one machine to Canada, and it wasn't fun for either of us.
Okay, I'm making noise now.
Okay.
Gotta drive. That's good enough. Tony,
Sir?
you want to do your thing?
Yeah.
Spray this one more time?
I got a couple questions up there you can answer. I'm
Okay.
gonna go get dizzy.
You're
Okay.
so weird. Do you want to change cameras real fast?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I always use neatsfoot oil, or do I prefer another oil like vegetable oil or olive oil? No, I don't always use neatsfoot oil, and I like all vegetable oils will work pretty good other than corn oil. I don't think that works as well, and I'm not sure why in peanut oil. I wouldn't use either of those. I've heard that they attract like rodents.
Oh, that's not
You know.
good. You know, I mean, as
But-
much as we can
yeah.
just not use corn, that
Yeah.
seems fine too.
Yeah.
It's in everything.
But olive oil is great. Canola oil is great.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I mean, I remember you saying if you didn't work here, you'd probably just use olive oil or vegetable oil
Yeah.
because you could just go to the grocery store and get it.
Yeah.
But
for the
because
kitchen.
in the kitchen and get it. But because you work here, that's just what
Yeah.
we've got, and it's
Yeah.
convenient for you.
And neatsfoot oil is a traditional
Yeah.
leather finish.
Man, Phoebe's has been around for a long time and been selling that for a long time.
And someone was saying, I think it was Terry was talking yesterday. She heard someone that used melted animal fat or beef fat, you know, and that's basically what neatsfoot oil is.
Yeah.
You know, it just rendered.
I gotta hold myself up on this wall so I don't kick the camera over.
You just make things so difficult on yourself. Is it better hot air or cold air?
Oh, hot air will definitely do the job faster. You don't want to use a heat gun. Heat gun gets it too hot.
Yeah.
You can actually cook your leather with it. So.
We don't want to cook. You can cook leather.
Sure you can. I'll get that later.
Let's see here. Real fast, Denny. Virtuoso 408 wants to know if there's anything that he can add to a dyed piece of leather for stiffness, or does he just need to work it with hand and some oil for stiffness? Are you saying that it's too stiff and you want to make it more supple? I think that's what he's asking. I mean, you oil before you dye, and that definitely helps.
Yeah. And an alcohol-based dye is going to naturally stiffen the leather. There's not much you can do about that. Just don't saturate it, you know, with
Yeah, you don't need
dye.
to dip it in there.
Yeah. 'Cause
I mean,
the
I guess you can, but
you better if you're wanting your leather to stay softer, use an airbrush and just airbrush it because you don't have to use as much dye on it. that
Right.
way.
But definitely oiling before you start, like after you finish tooling, oil your leather. Put the moisture back in there between tooling, you know, water, drying, that's drying it out. It's dry leather because it's been tanned and now it's dry and it doesn't have any moisture in it. So you just need to put some of that back in there.
Yeah.
If you have a really thick piece of leather, maybe oil it pretty decently and leave it to sit overnight to really let that oil absorb all the way through and then start going.
Or a lot of saddle soap.
Or a lot of saddle soap.
Saddle
Yeah.
soap has lanolin in it. The Phoebe's Paste saddle soap I'm talking about. It has a lot of lanolin in it, and lanolin will definitely aid in it as a softening.
Would you
process.
saddle soap when you're done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you put a finish on it. Before you put like an acrylic finish.
So would you dye it and then saddle soap and then
Yeah.
antique? Because you wouldn't want to rub your saddle soap over your antique right before you put a finish on it.
Right. Right. You're correct.
Okay.
But generally, I don't know. I never get much effect from antique after I've dyed something.
Well, I mean, if you like dyed the border and then you wanted to still antique the inside, or if you dyed specific things.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Or if you dyed a really light color and then you antique after that.
Yeah. I think the main thing is just don't put too much spirit dye
Sure.
on a piece of leather because that will make it stiffer. And there's not much you can say. And if you work the leather, you know, actually fold it a lot, you know, or.
Yeah.
But if you've got a lot of the detailed tooling on it, you know, that's not good either.
Denny, somebody asked if the oil that we've been talking about would go rancid. It's like your vegetable or your olive oil.
Well, no more than it does at home in your kitchen.
I mean, I've had a bottle of olive oil for a long time.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm glad I'm putting something over that. Nice and too deep.
You are getting pretty in there.
Tape's not wanting to come off.
Yeah, tape is giving me trouble here.
He's getting about a centimeter off at a time. What's your opinion on saddle lack?
Saddle lack used to be the standard of the industry. But I don't use a lot of it because it gives too shiny of an appearance.
So that's a lacquer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that real, myself, I don't like that real plastic, shiny look that it gives it.
Yeah, quick shine is a wax-based finish, yes?
Yes.
It's got the lanolins and waxes in it.
And you can overdo it too, but. Dadgum.
Sorry if I did that.
Any idea why my saddle lack won't work with my black Phoebeans dye? Won't stick with my black Phoebeans dye?
It sure should.
I mean, I guess if you've over dyed it and you have a lot of pigment sitting on top, maybe, and you didn't buff it off, you might still be getting some bleed out.
That's the
I don't
one.
really know.
That's the one dye I always hear so much stuff about is Phoebeans black. Or you dye it blue before, and so you can get a base coat down, and then you do the Phoebeans black on top of them blue.
Well, black is traditionally the hardest to.
You know what I've always been successful with and haven't had any problems?
The Finichi.
The Finichi water stain.
Yeah. That stuff is really, and you don't actually need a finish, because if you just keep buffing, it buffs into its own finish, which is pretty darn awesome. Now they do make a finish that you can apply on if you're worried about it, but
it's water based, so it's very eco.
Yeah, and it's thicker.
And it flows right
Yeah,
out of the bottle, if you understand what I'm saying.
Does it dry waterproof?
Huh? No,
It's water based, but
water based. Not.
Does it?
It doesn't come off after it has dried.
I mean,
Not that I've found.
I don't know if I've taken like water and spritzed any of like the coasters to see if it still allows.
Or wipe it down
absorbs
with water.
Yeah.
Like wash it off with water. Will it?
No, it doesn't come off. I use it for a knife sheath, and I use it for my edges, and like I got to the point where just burnishing just with the dye on those edges, I got a really nice finish. Now I still did my gum trag and all of that, but I was really impressed with it. I just liked that it was thicker. It wasn't as runny. It was easier to apply. You could put it on a sponge and really put it where you wanted it. It didn't make a big mess.
I've never used it.
And it squirts out. It's got this little like squirt cap that's nice. So it's not just a big open hole. I don't know. It's a little expensive, but you get a lot for what you're paying for.
Denny, does your little knife there have a name for it? I don't think it carries.
Does it have what?
Does it have a name, a tool?
This is an old Al Stolman knife, actually. It's made by Tandy, I'm sure.
We have something similar.
You guys, usually this tape doesn't give me this much trouble.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
So I do it live so you can see how much we actually struggle.
The struggle is real.
All right, but I got it. By golly, I won.
Somewhere in here, there's the knife.
All right. Now then, we're going to cement this front tab to the itself.
Jerica. She has a project that she's working on that's got some hair on hide, aside from lacing the edges. So I mean, you can do a bound edge on hair on, which I think is what Clayton and I did when we did the duffel bag with the 2 hair on panels at the top. We did bound edges to do that hair, and Clayton actually had a really good solution for gluing or like putting the bound edge over the hair. He went through and applied glue first to the edge of the hair on and let it dry. And then he put another layer of glue, and that just held all the hairs together so they weren't moving around while you were trying to work with them. And so that worked really well. But really, I mean, binding the edge or lacing it, but even that might start to get tricky because you're going to get hairs popping out of your lace.
Yeah, I've tried that before. The bound edge is definitely your best bet.
Yeah.
But it's also difficult.
Or, yeah.
But
So you can roll the edge, but once again, you're going to sew it, and then you're going to kind of have hairs sticking out places. So, anyways.
yeah. Okay, I'm going to make noise again for a second. That's all we need. Now I'm just going to go right to this line on the flap.
He's just lining it up with that first line that he drew.
Okay, now, since I'm going to bend this and fold it, I'm going to just lightly stretch this underside. A little bit of water. I'm not really going to get it wet, but I want to get a little moisture. Thank you.
You're welcome. You don't want to get glue on your finished side.
What I'm going to do, if I can find, I'm going to take this straight edge and put it right to this first line that I've got here. I'm going to bend it. And I'm going to go to the second line. And I'll bend it.
If you look-
This just kind of, it doesn't really train it, but it kind of coerces it to bend there next. Everything's all glued up.
I'll say if you were working with heavier leather, you could use a V-gouge and kind of create lines in that to help it to fold a little bit easier. But since like 4 to 5, he got it wet, it should really fold nicely as is. Plus, since he's kind of stamped it really deep there, you probably don't want to gouge because you're just going to make some holes in your leather.
I stamped this too.
You kind of got one, don't you?
Yeah, that's all right.
You're going to glue it up.
We're
It's going to be fine.
this dandy stuff on here.
You're so excited about that.
I am. So I'm just gonna make myself a little glue line around there so I know how much to glue.
Real precise.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, look at that cool glue pot.
A great glue pot.
Thank you.
He's going to need it, though, just right now. So
I am gonna need it. Spread the glue on the leather first. For no apparent reason. Just because I wanted to. On that, what I stamped to so far.
So while you're gluing, this person asked about using veg splits. So they got a couple rolls from us, and they're asking, you know, what else can you do with it besides lining something? And they're asking if it can be sanded and finished smooth.
Sure, you can sand it and finish smooth. You can make any project you want out of it too. I made belts with it.
I was gonna say, depending on the thickness, or even if you wanted to glue 2 pieces together, you can carve the rough out. You know, people will do whole saddles out of rough out.
I remember when the first saddle maker that I went to work for, he went on vacation. I hadn't been working for him for very long, but he taught me how to use a sewing machine. And he had bought several rolls of split leather.
Okay.
Probably about 7 or 8 ounce split leather.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a saddle bag pattern. And while he was on vacation, I was supposed to be running his shop and making saddlebags out of that split leather. And I probably made 50 pair of saddlebags.
Oh, wow.
You know, out of that split leather. They sold like hotcakes.
Nice.
Because it's good, firm leather,
Mhm.
you know. Worked great for that. So, yeah, you can use split leather for a lot of stuff. That's all I got to say about that.
And he's deaf.
My daughter's saddle is a rough out. I
Yep.
saw somebody making a rucksack bag with rough out.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use Toco Pro or Toconol on it and get a glass flicker or gum trag
Yeah.
and paste the back down.
Yeah, that's what you would call it, is pasted back when you do that.
Look at me being knowledgeable.
I say the one thing that Kevin has always been leery about is when it comes to splits or just dyeing, the back of any piece of leather, the dye, it's really hard to get that dye sealed in there as well as you can on the front, or as easy as you can on the front of a piece of leather. So, if it's a belt that you're making and you're dyeing both sides, you really want to make sure that you've sealed in that back of the rough out so that whatever project it is that you're making doesn't bleed all over your customer's person when they use it. Because that's no good.
Closers on before I do this.
He remembered. I forgot.
Barely. Get this glue packed up. Come apart. Not too big yet.
So we've got these little islands. Oh goodness gracious!
Okay, now I'm gonna punch this hole that I marked before.
How do you open them?
Well, they screw sometimes. I think you should have got the bigger washers. Or the hexagon ones.
Jeez Louise. Liz is like being a wife.
I got it.
Two little marks here.
All right, so we've got these little, they're fancy eyelets. They're fancy closures. They've got this little magnetic clasp that has that little prong on it that then fits into this fancy eyelet that screws on. So this top one has two pieces, so this will go on the front of what we're doing, and then we have to secure the inside because it's got this little washer, so you don't want it. You want to put it in between your lining. And then this little prong guy has his two little prongs that go into the little washer. This is item number 020-2117. Anybody wanted to reference that in anywhere where people could look at it.
Did you say we sell that foam? What was that foam again?
This is the gray seating foam. We do sell it in 1/4 inch, not in this lovely split 1/8 inch. But I
we
suppose,
can split it.
I was going to say, if you wanted us to split what you bought, you could call us.
Liz at.
Nope.
Now we're talking about hexagon being the bestagon. In case you're curious.
The hexagons. Did everybody watch that video? Did we link that video somewhere? Are people talking about it? That would make my day. If not me, but other people are talking about it.
Zero says hexagon or bestagon, LOL. And then Robert at S says hexagon is the bestagon.
Is the bestagon.
So that's where we've ended up right
Wesley, when you go home this afternoon, watch the YouTube video, Hexagons Are the Bestagons, and learn something today. Yeah, so we sell these little eyelets that have like a little hexagon face instead of a round face. Number one, they're easier to open because you have a flat side to grip instead of a circle. But number two, it's a hexagon, which just should make everyone happier. I forgot to get my leather last night. Please don't tell me that you... Did Stacy steal it? He did not. Thank you, Stacy. Otherwise, he would have stolen it.
Where is
I put it over... It's probably behind the sheet pile. Yeah.
I see it now.
Is there any practical difference between a suede and a split? A suede is a split. However, if you're buying a leather that is advertised as a suede, it has probably been processed into a suede, so it's been finished somehow. A lot of times it's been dyed.
Sanded and buffed.
It's been sanded, yeah, buffed. It's finished. Typically, a split will just be kind of the leftovers from processing the grain side in an operation like ours, where then we're not taking that and making it into something else.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to the machine.
Oh, we're finally going to use our 26.
Yeah.
How exciting. Or not. One moment, Denny.
No, you can keep going.
Okay.
I'll be there before long.
Why don't you just Speedy Gonzalez?
No, just Tony. Tony Gonzalez. I wish I was Tony Gonzalez. That'd be a heck of a tight end for the Chiefs.
There you go.
One of these flashes.
So put those on the front of whatever you're making. And then this slips up through and it's magnetic. And so it clips in there. And then that just secures on the back. Yeah. That is the tiniest stitch ever.
Yeah. Got a little closer than, well, this foam kind of tightens that stitch up. I wish I would have set it a little bit longer. I had this set before I came in here. Before I discovered the fact that we had this foam, it was slitting.
Denny, do you know what size needle that was on there?
21, I believe.
And you're using 138?
No, this is 69. I could have used 138, but I used 69.
On top and bottom?
Yes. And I do wish I could make a little longer stitch line.
Yeah, that foam is
Perforated?
no. But I guess that could be an issue.
Any closer.
You probably don't have to cut around. You could just tear on the dotted line.
That was close.
Foam melts.
All right, now let me
That'd
try
be a
this.
con to using foam.
It's one place I'm going to use a knife.
It's a little
A
sticky, isn't
straight
it?
knife, yeah.
We finally found a situation where Denny prefers a straight knife over a head knife.
Wait till I get here.
What'd you say that was a 20 needle on there?
20 or 22, I forget which.
There's magnets on the side, but the magnet is not in place to tell me. And I can't read it without taking it out.
You're welcome to do that.
No, thank you. That means I'd have to not drop it and put it back in.
It's so squeaky. That foam is awkward.
All right.
Uh-oh. We're going to call it a day right now. Well, you could probably just punch a hole through it.
Yeah. Probably could.
We lined our eyelet, guys.
Yeah, I forgot. What did I do with my hole punch?
Well, I think it's too big. Oh, yours. Okay. Whoopsies. Dig it out. There we go.
Perfection.
Problem.
That's what we're after, is perfection.
Was it too thick?
Yeah. I'm going to have to redo that. Anyway, there we go. Here we go. It worked pretty good other than that last part.
What happened?
The foam is too thick.
Yeah, I needed to put the clasp on over the foam.
Or maybe
One
not
part needed
put...
to be under the foam. It needed to be on the outside of the foam.
Yeah. So we'll probably... He'll find a bigger hole punch, and then we'll punch that whole thing out so that this whole eyelet can fit up into the foam, because it's too shallow for that post to come all the way up through and hold. But it looks great otherwise. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Look at that. Hope you guys enjoyed the tooling.
Hey, now it's in a book shape.
Yeah. It's a little book. Put your flies in there. Let's see. How does the fly go on the foam versus in the shearling?
A bit much better. Let's see, which side's up?
Boom. Look at that.
Yeah.
Much better.
It's much better. Alrighty, guys. We're done for the day. We're done for the week. I'm going to call it.
I'm
We're
glad.
gonna go fishing.
We're done. Yep.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks, Wayne.
Wesley.
Wesley.
Wayne is in the chat.
Hey, Wayne.
Bye.
That's why.